Ever check your cruise bill and wonder, wait, how did I spend that much on a trip that was supposed to be all-inclusive? Don't worry, you're not bad with money. The cruise line is just very good at taking it. But not after today. These 9 cruise tips and money-saving tricks will help you dodge the traps, find the freebies, and keep your cash for the fun stuff, like actual vacations that don't require a second mortgage. Tip number 1, skip the balcony. Cruise lines love to make you feel like a balcony cabin is the ultimate luxury. Ocean breeze, private sunrise coffee. But here's the truth most experienced cruisers eventually figure out. You'll spend less than 10% of your trip in that room. And most of that time, you'll be asleep. Half the people who pay for that view end up closing the curtains for a nap anyway. Many savvy travelers actually prefer inside cabins because they're pitch black, quiet, and perfect for deep sleep. If you like a hint of daylight to wake up naturally, there's a simple trick. Leave the TV on the ship's bridge or camera channel overnight. When you stir, a quick glance tells you whether it's sunrise or still the middle of the night. It's like having a sunrise without the blinding sunlight or the balcony price tag. And those balcony savings, they add up fast. The money you'd spend on a view you'll barely use could easily cover your drink package, a couple of specialty dinners, or an unforgettable shore excursion. Some travelers even use it to book a second cruise later in the year. That's how big the difference can be. Nothing beats saying, I skipped a balcony and now I'm going again in October. Plus, you're not missing the ocean view. Many ships have spa lounges, private deck areas, and tucked-away bars where you can sip a cocktail, watch the sunset, and feel the breeze, all without paying balcony prices. It's the same serenity, just with better company and a bigger view. Here's the smart move. Book the cheaper inside cabin and keep an eye on your booking. Closer to sail date, cruise lines often release balcony upgrades for little or no cost when they have extra availability. You might end up getting that balcony anyway, but without paying for it up front. Because in the end, what you remember isn't sitting on a small balcony chair staring at the waves. It's everything you did once you walked out that cabin door. Plus, your balcony neighbor's Bluetooth speaker playlist isn't as romantic as the brochure made it sound. Tip number 2, the real drink package math. Cruise lines love to advertise unlimited drinks like it's a liquid paradise. Cocktails, coffees, sodas, and smiles all around. But here's the secret they don't exactly print on the brochure. Unless you plan to drink like it's a college reunion, the math almost never works in your favor. Most cruise drink packages cost between $60 and $100 per person per day. And here's the catch. If one adult in your cabin buys it, the other usually has to buy it too. Why? Because cruise lines don't want guests sharing drinks between 2 people. They assume if one person has the package and the other doesn't, you'll just hand your drink over and split the cost. So they made a rule. If there are 2 adults in the same cabin, you both have to buy it. Even if one barely drinks, you're paying double. To break even, you'd need around 6 to 8 cocktails a day, every single day. That's not vacation mode, that's liver Olympics. And don't forget, service charges still apply to each drink, and premium liquors aren't always included. Some ships even limit how many drinks you can order within a set amount of time. So while it sounds all-inclusive, it's really more included until it's not. In fact, the bottomless drink culture on cruise ships has been making headlines lately. There have been multiple cases where passengers, often people who aren't heavy drinkers on land, have gone overboard, literally and figuratively, after taking advantage of unlimited alcohol. In one recent lawsuit, a family claimed their loved one was served drink after drink with no cutoff, and that bartenders looked the other way because more drinks meant more tips. With growing pressure from these cases, insiders say cruise lines may soon face big changes in how unlimited drink packages work, possibly as early as 2026. Here's how smart cruisers actually save. Pre-cruise sales. Packages often go on sale before sailing, sometimes by 20 to 30%. Consider smaller bundles. If you mainly drink coffee, water, or soda, there are cheaper standalone packages for those, or skip it entirely. Pay per drink. Tip in cash, and you'll likely spend less, especially if you're off the ship most days instead of living at the bar. And here's a funny truth. People who skip the drink package tend to order better drinks. not just the neon-colored mystery cocktails that look like melted Jell-O shots. So before you click Add Package, grab a calculator, because the cruise line already did. And the math is definitely in their favor. Next up, tip number 3, the embarkation day buffet trap, and why the first meal on board is rarely the one you want. When you finally board the ship, it feels like a rite of passage to head straight for the buffet. You've been waiting all morning, you're hungry, and that first bite feels like the cruise has officially begun. But here's the thing, that's exactly what thousands of other passengers are doing at the same time, and it's not the relaxing welcome you're hoping for. The embarkation buffet is usually the most crowded, chaotic, and least enjoyable meal of the entire cruise. Those trays of fresh food, they've been sitting under heat lamps while the ship's been boarding. You'll see people circling tables like sharks just to find a seat, juggling plates, drinks, and carry-ons. And if you sit too close to the drink station, be ready for people constantly squeezing past you, bumping your chair, and reaching over your food just to grab cups and napkins. A better move is to avoid it altogether. After cabins open, usually sometime in the early afternoon, you can drop off your bags and head to the main dining room instead. If rooms aren't ready yet, it's still easy to carry your small bag or personal item with you. Most passengers don't realize the dining room is open on embarkation day, and that's the secret. You'll walk into quiet music, proper service, and food that was cooked minutes ago, not hours. Or go exploring. The smaller eateries, like poolside grills, salad bars, or pizza counters, are often half empty because everyone's still fighting for a spot in the buffet. You'll eat better, relax sooner, and actually enjoy your first hour on board, because nothing says welcome aboard like eating lunch without needing elbow pads. Tip number 4, hidden cruise freebies they hope you miss. Cruise lines are masters of temptation. Everywhere you look, there's a limited time offer, a signature experience, or a drink that somehow costs more than your entire lunch back home. But behind all that marketing, there's a surprising amount of stuff on board that's completely free, if you just know where to look. Let's start with food. Even without a specialty dining package, there are secret menu items hiding in plain sight. The main dining room usually has a few classics you can always ask for, like shrimp cocktail, Caesar salad, or even a second entree. Want 2 desserts? Go for it. No one's judging, except maybe the guy next to you pretending he didn't do the same thing yesterday. Then there's free coffee and juice. Cruise lines love to sell you fancy caramel, whatever lattes, but there's free brewed coffee and juice available almost 24/7 in the buffet or cafe areas. It's not exactly barista level, but it'll keep you awake long enough to find the soft serve machine again. And speaking of free, the spa has its own little secrets. On embarkation day, walk past the spa tour sign. They'll be smiling, offering samples, and yes, giving away free mini massages or sauna access as part of their open house. It's their way of convincing you to come back later, but if you play it right, you'll get a free shoulder rub and a cucumber water before they even swipe your card. Now, here's one most people miss entirely: free drinks at events. The captain's welcome party, art auctions, and even loyalty receptions often hand out complimentary champagne or cocktails. Sure, it's not top shelf, but let's be honest, when it's free and fizzy, it suddenly tastes like victory. And don't skip guest services. They're basically the ship's lost and found for freebies. Ask nicely and they'll often hand over things like motion sickness tablets, earplugs, or even little sewing kits. It's like a tiny Target store behind the counter, minus the long checkout line. Finally, there's the sneaky one: free or discounted laundry. Midway through the cruise, keep an eye on your cabin mailbox or app notifications. Some ships offer fill the bag, deals, or half-price wash days that aren't advertised. It's not glamorous, but it beats paying $5 per sock. These hidden perks might seem small, but they add up fast. A few free drinks, a free massage, some snacks you didn't have to buy, and suddenly you've saved enough to treat yourself to something that isn't marked up 400%. Because on a cruise, the smartest passengers aren't the ones who spend the most. They're the ones who quietly walk away with all the freebies. Tip number 5, the internet trick they don't tell you: Cruise Wi-Fi is one of those things you think you need until you see the price and realize you could have just booked another cruise instead. It's slow, expensive, and half the time you're paying extra just to load one blurry cat meme. But here's the trick. You don't need to stay connected all day. Before your trip, download what you'll actually use: movies, playlists, maps, and translation apps. Then check if your ship's app lets you message other passengers for free. Some cruise lines quietly include that feature, but they don't shout about it because, well, they'd rather sell you the $20 a day Wi-Fi plan. When you really do need internet, skip the ship's package and use an ESIM instead. That's a small digital plan you can install on your phone before you sail. Once you're in port, it connects to local mobile towers for fast, cheap data. No physical SIM card or roaming fees. Apps like Airalo, Saily, and Nomad are popular worldwide. You simply pick the region you're visiting, buy a short plan, and you're ready to go. It works in Australia, the UK, the US, and most of Europe. And if you're traveling with family or friends, one person can share their connection through their phone's hotspot, so everyone stays online without buying multiple plans. Just remember to switch it off once you're back at sea, or you'll end up paying for ocean views and ocean roaming. Tip number 6, always check for price drops. Cruise prices aren't set in stone. They bounce around more than a karaoke singer after midnight. What most people don't realize is that if the price of your cruise drops after you book, and it happens more often than you think, you can often get that lower rate. Before your final payment date, cruise lines will usually match the new price or give you onboard credit for the difference, but they don't email you about it. You have to find it yourself. The smart move is to check the price of your exact cruise every week or two. Same dates, same cabin type. If it's cheaper, call or message the cruise line and politely ask for a price adjustment. They'll check, confirm, and if it qualifies, you'll save hundreds instantly. Some cruisers have even scored free upgrades to better rooms just by catching a price drop early. There are also websites and Facebook groups where travelers track daily price changes and post alerts for specific ships. It's worth joining a few because sometimes the difference between a standard balcony and a suite is just timing. And here's the fun part. If you book through a travel agent, they can monitor the price for you. So while you're dreaming about buffets and deck chairs, someone else is literally watching the price go down on your behalf. It's the easiest money you'll ever save on a cruise, and it's completely legal. Because on land, prices go up when demand spikes. But on the ocean, sometimes the biggest wave is the one that knocks a few $100s off your bill. Tip number 7, the smart tipping strategy. Cruise tipping can feel confusing. There's auto gratuities, bar tips, room service tips, and somehow you're never quite sure who's already been covered and who hasn't. Here's how to actually make it work in your favor. First, don't remove the automatic gratuities. Those go to everyone behind the scenes, the cooks, the dishwashers, the laundry crew, not just the people you see. But for your cabin steward, waiter, or bartender, add a little cash tip early on day one. A friendly $10 or $20 up front says, "I appreciate you," and somehow your towels start folding themselves into swans and your ice bucket magically stays full. Think of it as an investment because cruise crew remember kindness. They work insane hours, often months without a break, and genuine thanks goes a long way. And honestly, there's something really nice about that moment when they smile back, surprised and grateful. You can tell it made their day, and it makes you feel good too. The trick is balance. Keep the automatic tips, then add small cash bonuses to the people who go above and beyond. That way, everyone gets paid fairly, and you still get the kind of service that makes other passengers wonder, why does their room always look cleaner than mine? And if you're wondering whether the crew can tell if you prepaid your tips, they usually can't. But they do notice the guest who smiles, says thank you, and slips them a little extra appreciation in person, because sometimes the best upgrade on a cruise isn't a balcony. It's being the passenger the crew actually likes. And trust me, when the crew likes you, even your forgotten laundry somehow finds its way back folded and smelling like heaven. Tip number 8, the quiet cabin cheap upgrade trick. Picking the wrong cabin can turn your dream cruise into a week-long sleepover at a bowling alley. The problem? Cruise lines never warn you about noise. They'll happily sell you a bargain room right under the pool deck, where chairs scrape, kids run, and the early morning Zumba class kicks off at sunrise. Here's the fix. When booking, look for a cabin sandwiched between two passenger decks. That means sleeping rooms above you and below you, not the gym, not the theater, and definitely not the buffet. It's the sweet spot for silence. When you book a guarantee cabin, you're not choosing a specific room number, just the type you want, like inside, ocean view, or balcony. Then the cruise line picks your exact cabin for you later, usually a few weeks before sailing. Because they get to fill the ship however they want, they give you a small discount for letting them decide. And here's the fun part. Sometimes you get lucky. You might end up in a quiet midship cabin that normally costs a few hundred more. It's like playing the cruise version of a slot machine, except the jackpot is a peaceful room instead of free spins and regret. It's not guaranteed luxury, but when it works, it feels like you outsmarted the booking system. And honestly, that's one of the best feelings at sea. But if you prefer control, use the ship's online deck plan. Look for weird-shaped interior rooms or ones tucked away at the end of quiet hallways. Those are often slightly bigger for the same price. Just skip anything near the elevators, kids' clubs, or public doors that slam, because nothing kills a vacation faster than realizing your neighbor is the world's loudest snorer, and the wall is basically cardboard. Tip number 9, the embarkation hack. The cruise might be over, but here's one final tip that makes a huge difference. Don't rush off the ship. When the ship docks, everyone suddenly acts like there's a prize for being first through customs. They crowd the elevators, block the hallways, and drag their luggage like it's a competitive sport. But the truth, the calm, smart cruisers, they're still sipping coffee, watching the chaos from the balcony. If you don't have an early flight, leave last. You'll glide off the ship with no crowds, no lines, and your bags waiting neatly in the terminal instead of buried under 1,000 others. Even breakfast is better. No buffet stampede, no juggling your plate while someone elbows past for one last cinnamon roll. And don't worry about getting stuck without a ride. By the time you stroll off, the port's calm, and there are still taxis and Ubers constantly pulling in to scoop up late passengers. Drivers love the steady business. It's the smoothest, least stressful way to end a trip, and secretly one of the best luxury feelings you can get for free. Because while everyone else is sweating in line and wrestling suitcases like it's a sport, you'll be the one walking off relaxed, coffee in hand, thinking, why rush to leave paradise? You're now officially cruising smarter, saving money, skipping stress, and getting ready to enjoy the part that really matters, the cruise itself. But before you even get to the ship, make sure your journey there doesn't turn into an episode of airport chaos. Watch our airport tips playlist next. It's packed with everything from carry-on secrets to the weird little airport rules that catch people off guard. You might even find that one video that turns airport stress into a smooth takeoff for your trip. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because your next vacation just got a whole lot smarter.